The world does not care about your potential, and time is currently devouring the only life you will ever have. As you stand at the threshold of 2026, you are likely carrying a heavy, invisible burden of habits, expectations, and attachments that are quietly suffocating your soul. Most people will enter this new year adding more to their plates, chasing more noise and seeking more validation, only to wonder why they feel more hollow than ever before. But the ancient Stoics understood a secret that the modern world has forgotten. Greatness is not achieved by what you add, but by what you have the courage to strip away. To become the person you were meant to be, you must learn the art of the quiet cut. You do not need to announce your transformation to the world or post your resolutions for applause. True power lies in the silent elimination of everything that no longer serves your virtue. If you want to claim 2026 as the year of your mastery, you must be willing to walk away from the things that keep you small. The first thing you must quietly cut is the desperate need for external validation. We live in an era where our worth is often measured by the digital echoes of strangers. Yet Marcus Aurelius reminded us that everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. When you seek the approval of others, you hand them the keys to your internal peace. You become a slave to their whims, rising with their praise and falling with their criticism. In 2026, make the decision to work in the shadows. Let your results speak while your lips remain sealed. There is a profound strength in doing what is right simply because it is right, without looking around to see who is watching. When you stop performing for an audience, you finally start living for yourself. This leads naturally to the second cut, the habit of complaining. To a Stoic, complaining is a declaration of weakness. It is an admission that you have allowed an external event to conquer your mind. Every time you voice a grievance about the weather, the economy, or a difficult colleague, you are reinforcing the idea that you are a victim of circumstance. Seneca taught us that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. By cutting the habit of vocalizing your dissatisfaction, you reclaim your agency. You stop being a commentator on your misfortunes and start being the architect of your solutions. As you move deeper into this year, you must also cut the toxic tether of regret over the past. The past is a graveyard of things that cannot be changed. Yet many of us spend our best hours wandering among the headstones. Epictetus famously stated that it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The past is outside your circle of control. To dwell on it is to commit a crime against your present self. You must treat your past mistakes as data points, not as life sentences. Take the lesson, burn the bridge, and keep moving forward. Closely linked to this is the fourth cut, anxiety about the future. We often torture ourselves with what, ifs and maybes, suffering through tragedies that will never actually occur. The Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum is not about living in fear, but about realizing that even the worst case scenario can be endured with a steady mind. By cutting out the frantic worry about tomorrow, you free up the energy required to dominate today. The future is merely a series of nows that haven't arrived yet. If you master the present, the future will take care of itself. Fifth thing to eliminate is the poison of comparison. In a world of curated highlights and filtered realities, it is easy to feel like you are falling behind. But comparison is the thief of joy and the enemy of progress. Your path is unique, and your only true competition is the person you were yesterday. When you compare your internal struggle to someone else's external success, you are playing a rigged game. Cut the habit of looking sideways. Focus your gaze entirely on your own stride. If you are moving toward virtue and wisdom, it does not matter how fast others are running. This brings us to the sixth cut, the overconsumption of information. We are drowning in a sea of noise, constantly tethered to devices that demand our attention. This digital clutter fragments our focus and prevents deep thought. Seneca warned that being everywhere is being nowhere. In 2026, you must protect your inner citadel by limiting the flow of useless data. Stop scrolling through the lives of people you don't know and start reading the thoughts of people who have mastered themselves. Silence the notifications that do not contribute to your growth. A quiet mind is a powerful mind, and you cannot find silence if you are always listening to the world's roar. The seventh cut is perhaps the most difficult: toxic relationships. You are the average of the people you spend the most time with, and if those people are anchored in negativity, they will eventually pull you under. You do not owe anyone your sanity. You do not have to be a martyr for people who refuse to help themselves. Cutting someone out doesn't always mean a dramatic confrontation. Often, it is a quiet withdrawal. You simply stop giving your energy to those who drain it. Surround yourself with those who challenge you to be better. Or choose the dignity of your own company. This leads to the 8th cut, the fear of being alone. Many people stay in bad situations or chase mindless distractions because they are terrified of their own thoughts. But solitude is the training ground of the soul. If you cannot be happy alone, you will never be truly happy with others. Cut the need for constant noise and learn to sit in a room by yourself without a screen. In that silence, you will find the voice of your own reason, which is the only guide you truly need. The 9th thing you must cut is the need to always be right. Our egos are fragile things, often leading us into useless arguments that serve no purpose other than to prove our perceived superiority. But what do you gain by winning a debate at the cost of your peace? Marcus Aurelius noted that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. If someone is wrong, let them be wrong. Your energy is too valuable to be spent on the correction of fools. By cutting the need to defend your ego, you become untouchable. You move through the world with a quiet confidence that doesn't require the validation of being correct in the eyes of others. This is followed by the 10th cut, procrastination. We often act as if we have 1,000 years to live, but death is always standing in the shadow. Memento mori, remember you will die. Every moment you spend delaying your duty is a moment you have thrown away forever. Procrastination is the ultimate form of self-betrayal. Cut the excuses. Cut the I'll start Monday mentality. The only time that exists is now. If a task is worth doing, it is worth doing with your full attention, immediately. The 11th cut is people-pleasing. When you say yes to everyone else, you are often saying no to yourself. You cannot be a person of character if your values are constantly shifting to accommodate the expectations of others. Learn the power of a polite but firm no. Cut the guilt that comes with setting boundaries. Your time and energy are your most precious resources. Do not let them be stolen by the demands of the unessential. The 12th thing to eliminate is excessive luxury and the dependency on comfort. We have become a society that fears discomfort, yet growth only happens at the edge of our comfort zones. Seneca used to practice poverty days, where he would eat the simplest food and wear the coarsest clothes to remind himself that he didn't need wealth to be happy. In 2026, cut the reliance on physical ease. Take the cold shower. Walk instead of drive. Choose the difficult path over the easy one. When you are no longer a slave to your comforts, you become truly free. The 13th cut is gossip. Discussing the lives and failures of others is a low-level activity that reflects a lack of purpose in one's own life. It is a distraction from the work of self-improvement. When you speak ill of someone, you are polluting your own mind with negativity. Cut the habit of being a spectator of other people's drama. If you have nothing constructive to say nothing at all. Focus your conversations on ideas, virtues, and growth. The 14th cut is perfectionism. The fear of making a mistake often prevents us from even starting. But Stoicism teaches us that the obstacle is the way. Every failure is an opportunity to practice a virtue, whether it be patience, persistence, or humility. Cut the idea that you must be flawless. Instead, aim for progress. A rough stone becomes smooth through friction, and a human being becomes wise through the trials of action. Finally, the 15th cut is anger and reactivity. We often think that anger is a sign of strength, but it is actually a sign of a mind that has lost control. When you react impulsively to an insult or a setback, you have given your power away. Cut the fuse! Practice the pause. Realize that nothing external can hurt you unless you allow it to penetrate your judgment as you move through 2026. Remember that these cuts are not acts of cruelty, but acts of self-preservation. You are clearing the weeds so that the garden of your character can grow. This process requires a relentless honesty with yourself. You must look into the mirror and ask, what am I holding on to that is keeping me from my highest self? The answer will often be uncomfortable, but the truth is, the only foundation upon which a great life can be built. Stoicism is not a philosophy of endurance. It is a philosophy of liberation. It is about realizing that you have the power to define your own reality. Regardless of what the world throws at you, The 15 things you cut today will become the space where your wisdom, courage, and peace will reside tomorrow. Do not wait for a sign. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The clock is ticking, and the world is moving on. The person you want to become is waiting. On the other side of the things you are afraid to let go of. 2026 is not just another year. It is a blank canvas, and you are the artist. But you cannot paint a masterpiece if your brush is heavy with the mud of the past. Quietly, without fanfare, start making the cuts. Let the world wonder why you are so calm, why you are so focused, and why you are no longer moved by the things that once broke you. Your silence will be your strength, and your transformation will be your legacy. This is the path of the Stoic. This is the path to a life that truly matters. Walk it with your head held high, knowing that you have mastered the most difficult thing of all, yourself. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but it is sustained by the things we leave behind. Embrace the silence, embrace the discipline, and watch as your life transforms into a work of art that stands the test of time.